let's talk about Abasov. If you want to take it player by player,
Sure.
Abasov. What's let's say what were the we know what the expectations were going into the tournament. Let's try to analyze his event. I believe he finished on -6 or -7.
7.
-7, given his last round loss against Pragnananda in the King's Indian. How would you assess his performance, his mental state? I mean, obviously, he came into the event. We just found out when we were at the opening ceremony that he had some health issues as well leading to the competition. I don't know how much those affected his play and his preparation, but they should probably be discussed. Some serious health issues that probably required some sort of a surgical component to the whole thing, and probably took away days, if not weeks, from his preparation leading up to the tournament. How would you assess his performance?
Yeah, so, well, Nijad is the one player, I think, probably the only player before the tournament who people did not believe had any realistic chance, and I think with good reason to
Mm-hmm.
win the tournament. I mean, just by rating and the fact that he's never played a tournament of this caliber, and he's certainly never won a tournament of this caliber, and he's 100 points less than the next closest person, uh, and 170 points less than the highest rated, and there's a lot of reasons uh, why he was not considered a real contender in the tournament, despite being an excellent player. And this sort of was borne out in the games. But he did play an important role in terms of, as we
Mm-hmm.
already mentioned, who he lost to and who he didn't.
Yeah.
So the fact that he didn't lose at all to Jan was actually very relevant for the tournament. And Gukesh beat Nijat twice, which I'm not trying to take anything away from Gukesh. I mean, it's not easy to beat Nijat twice. Of course, if you win 2 games, then you deserve your 2 points. But Nijat definitely did play a role, and he was fighting hard. I think the thing is, like, he's a good player, and for stretches of every game, he was competing with his opponents. Like there were times like he's playing Gukesh, and long stretches he's playing at the same level as his opponent or Prague. Long stretches, and then at some moment things kind of go a bit off the rails, and he loses the game. Or against Hikaru, he went from being much worse to outplaying Hikaru to the point that he was
Closely
objectively
to winning.
basically winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then and he's also up on time. And then things go off the rails. It's just like these singular moments, things go off the rails for him, or sometimes things go bad from the start. But he did not play a complete game where he outplayed his opponent,
What
and
would
he did
you
not play a good
attribute
game.
that to? Is it nerves? Is it just the consistency of maintaining the high level of precision all throughout the game? What's the item that creates this separation between the 2650s of the world and the 2750s of the world?
Well, okay, it's many things. It's like how can you first of all, you can't say player by player, like everyone's individual, but it's just skills across the board that make a difference between a 2650, like let's say he is, or 2630 as he is,
Mm-hmm.
and a 2760 or 2780, like I don't know, Jan, Hikaru, uh, Pragnanta, Gukesh, and so on. There's just a variety of different skills. You can just see the level of quality between Gukesh and Nijat. It's night and day in terms of the quality of their moves, not just there's other things like practical skills and time management and so on, which Nijat, yeah, he's actually a fast player, which is unusual um for let's say a 2630 to be up on time compared to higher rated opponents. Usually you see the opposite. He's a fast and confident player, but sometimes being fast and confident is actually because you're afraid of time trouble, as he
Mm-hmm.
was
Mm-hmm.
in some games, and then he missed a chance against Hikaru because he rushed a critical moment. He went from much better to much worse in one move.
Yeah.
And so that's also time management. It's not just being fast. It's knowing when to be fast and when to be slow. Hikaru is very good at that. Jan is quite good at that, but um, sometimes Jan does tend to sometimes rush things. He's the fastest player. Like if you look at the time management, Jan is the only person always ahead on the clock,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
almost never in time trouble.
Yeah.
But he can sometimes rush a bit. Like Levon was in the same way. Super confident, but sometimes rushing even in winning positions. So okay, about Abasov, he is the underdog. He fought. It didn't work out, obviously. He's probably quite disappointed with the overall showing, but he did fight, and yeah, that's all there is really to say about his tournament.